problem, so we are not yet out of the woods. So what do we need to do? I want you in the United States to continue to mobilize the international community and international goodwill to give relief assistance to our people. I want you also to mobilize pressure to bear on the government of South Sudan to commit resources and more money from oil revenues towards humanitarian relief than buying guns and kill more people. We have to survive. My main message to you is that as South Sudanese, through referendum, we have succeeded through our struggle. The two wars, the Anyanya War and the SPLA War, we have succeeded to liberate ourselves, and we are now independent. This I call, we have made South Sudan. But have we made South Sudanese? I strongly believe we have not made South Sudanese. And to paraphrase Massimo D'Azeglio, one of the leaders of Italian unification, he said, after bringing Italy together, said that they have succeeded to make Italy. That is, Italy has been made. And the next task was, according to him, what remains is to make Italians. In our case as South Sudanese, South Sudan has been made. But what has now remained is to make South Sudanese. This is very important because we're still tribes, we're still clans, we're still geographies. We have to invest a lot of effort to make South Sudanese. And therefore, we must build bridges between us and resolve our internal conflict in order to minimize this degree of exposure to vulnerability and to risk and threats and create a resilient state. Such a well-functioning, peaceful, just and prosperous state must be based on our core values and our undivided allegiance. It means that we must willingly embrace ourselves, and this has to happen now at this early stage of the nation-state formation. No one tribe, in my view, or say two tribes or group of tribes can dictate the future of a nation because it is their desire or because they have what people call, one political scientist called it the tyranny of numbers. You know, it's not that the Nuers are so many, or the Dinkas or the Azande are so many, or the Toposas are so many, that they can use the tyranny of numbers to dictate the future of South Sudan. As experience has shown, any society that is densely divided may succeed in gaining statehood. And so we now have a state. But having a state is not a sufficient condition to have a nation. So we must take an extra step to work very hard to make what I called before making South Sudanese. Therefore, we must turn this tragedy into an opportunity, and this will mean laying basis for reforms for public safety, security, and prosperity for future generations. We as people have no time to waste. We have no time to experiment or to reinvent the wheel, because everything in Africa, whether civil wars, whether misgovernment, whether bad practices, all that has been tried before. So we are not reinventing the wheel. They have been tried before, and they have landed those countries in disasters. Since 2005, we have marked times. We have been moving in the same place. We have not been moving forward. We have marked time. We have moved in circles. We have tripped over. And we have roundly failed. As leadership, as SPLM, we have roundly failed our people and treated them undeservingly. But at the end of it, while we admit to this fact, the collective responsibility of the SPLM leadership for the failure, it should not be used to exonerate our chief executive officer. Because at the end of it, when Enron failed here, and when Goldman Sachs failed here, you know who was the first responsible person. And I admire Pierre Chol when he spoke here a while ago that if this occasion didn't go well, then he said, I assume responsibility. This is what it means. So some people, when they hear us admitting to the failures of the SPLM, they try to twist it over and use it as a ploy, as another way of exonerating the chief executive. The chief executive has failed us. And you, as the stakeholders, your company has failed because of the chief executive. And because of us in the management as well. But the first person that must be accountable is the chief executive. And therefore, we must work together to unite our hands. I want to make a quick reference. I think we are running out of time, but I want to make a quick reference to what is happening in Arusha. The SPLM is meeting in Arusha now under the auspices of CCM Party of Tanzania. The idea is actually to resolve SPLM differences and then move to Libya. Some may argue, and I hear this, and rightly so, that SPLM has been the problem of South Sudan. I agree. That SPLM must disappear. Okay. But at the end of it, know that we have not yet made South Sudanese with steel tribes. The SPLM now is a national platform, despite its differences. This is the only place where we meet ourselves. So, if you want SPLM to disappear, that is fine, but bring something better that will bring South Sudanese together. Otherwise, if we end up with tribal parties, like the SPLM-DC when it left, it became Shuluk-based. It is likely Dr. Riek with SPLM-IO in the future, that may end up as a Nuer party, or say, a Nuer-dominated party. What is remain of SPLM in Juba is actually going to end up as a Dinka outfit. And not even, you can't tell if majority, some of us, are out of that umbrella, then how can you call it a Dinka party? So it's neither a South Sudanese party. Do not be misled about the fact that you have other people as part of the SPLM-IG now from other communities. Well, they are in government, so oppositions are keeping some people, and the oil money is still flowing. So people want to meet their financial needs. But losing power today, you have the history of SSU in Sudan. When Nimere fell, the next day there was no SSU. The SPLM that I see in Juba is actually like that. So we run the risk of fragmenting and forming ethnic-based parties. And bringing the SPLM together and resolving internal differences of the SPLM will give you that glue that will help you to keep the country somehow together until progressive parties that some of you will create, some new political alternatives that some of you are going to generate, and that cut across different ethnic communities are going to emerge. The peace that is going to come must curb impunity and lay foundation for supremacy of the rule of law, and so there must be accountability. There must be, as a precondition, as a prerequisite to reconciliation and healing. You know now, President Obasanjo is going to launch a report, I think next week or early this month, and that is going to lay the basis for accountability for the atrocities that have been committed in our country. We have launched a program, my group, a 53-page program that has outlined critical reforms that should be undertaken in our country so that we have a better country than what we have been having. At the end, nothing can justify the carnage that is taking place in our country. If any leader breaches his obligations, that would mean he has failed the people. This war must be ended, and it must end unconditionally. We cannot justify it by simply saying that war comes with barbarity and with cruelty. Whether you are fighting it on the basis of legitimacy or of liberation, this war is within the family. It has no meaning at all. This acts of violence must be ended. There is no exceptional circumstances that would justify war as an exceptional action. This is war among South Sudanese. It is not a war against any foreign aggressor, as we have fought before. What we had in our party was a democratic debate that unfortunately generated uncivil response and has now put our country on a harm's way. I must conclude by saying that this war is senseless, and if we persist in pursuing it, then we are perpetuating the suffering of our people, and the history that is going to be written from this war is all shared to the people of South Sudan. There is no glory in it. We have fought against the Jalaba, and we have made glories. And anything that you are making in this war is destruction of your own country. I want us to unite in a mass movement for peace and push forward to compel our leaders in South Sudan to embrace peace and to end this war as soon as possible. Thank you.